What is up, everybody? It's your boy Blaze McCoy. We're back after a little break here with WrestleSense. Just a little recap of what's been going on and a review of Royal Rumble, which was this past weekend. We'll be talking about that. We'll get you up to speed with a little rapid recap as well. The boys are busy tonight. I'm not sure if anyone's stopping in. We'll see if they pop in throughout the evening, but I got this. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to talk a little wrestling. We'll chitty chat with the chat out here and see what you guys think about what went down and what's going down in wrestling. So let's check the chat first before I make my little public service announcement and get going. We got Wally in the building. We got Jesse, Jack, Hammer. Make sure you guys let me know you can hear me okay. Everything's going good out there. Great to see you. Kelly is in the house. Good to see you. Crushing Kelly's in the building. Riley Wolf is in the house. There's Joker. And who else we got here? Yes, definitely check out the Hardcore Sports Network. And Monstar is here. I know Doc can't make it. I don't know if CJ or Ray will be able to stop through either. But we're going to talk a little wrestling. We're going to review what went down. We'll do a rapid recap of what went down with a lot of news in the past month. It's been a few weeks since we've had a WrestleSense podcast. Andy Price is here. What's happening, my brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, wow. Hey, now. He actually is not going to make it, so Monstar. You must have really took care of business last night. Good for you, brother. Aaron West, yes, digital wrestling card was out today. I released a bunch of them for some of the newcomers of Leaning Towards Death Wrestling, which I'll be live with LTD Wrestling right after this. But just want to make a short announcement before we get into the recap. I got a rapid recap where about 3 weeks ago, our last show up until now, some of the wrestling news that's been going on out there, as well as we're going to review the Royal Rumble. But first and foremost, we will not be addressing the legal allegations and everything with Vince McMahon. We're not going to get into detail with any of that. If you want to know about the scenario that's going down and all the details, check out Fightful. Yesterday, they did a phenomenal job of summarizing it all. They got more of the facts, more of the details that they can let you know exactly what's going on with that scenario. I'm not going to talk about it that much. Just mentioning one little thing about Vince being gone. But other than that, we're going to focus on the in-ring product, the thing that you see on the TV screen each week, and that is wrestling almost every damn day of the week. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. We've said that a million times on this podcast. And I think 2024 has the ability to be even bigger for pro wrestling than the past couple years. And that's hard to believe. I mean, you got other companies stepping up. You got a lot of people moving around. You got new things, new happenings in pro wrestling. And you got a lot of big opportunities this year in pro wrestling. Like, I really mean that. Like, I'm really excited about the possibilities. Now, injury bug is hurt, especially WWE right now. We've talked in the past about how AEW had all those problems with injuries in the past couple of years, and we never had like a full roster over there. But now with Seth Rollins' injury, CM Punk's injury, Brock not being around, that's really going to shuffle WrestleMania, which was looking to be arguably could be one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. I still think Triple H and company is going to try to put together something special, and I'm looking forward to it. Next shift, what is up, Randy, my brother? Up. We got all kinds of Canadians in the building, man. Yeah, I forgot to really go over NXT. I mean, it is ramping up and doing a lot better now as well, so that's definitely part of. But we're gonna concentrate mostly on the Rumble today. I'm going to mention 2K24 as well, as Aaron West has brought up some of the footage coming out today. Going forward to it. But this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to try to bring you the Get Blazed Talk Show. We're going to get a little more in depth with some screenshots of 2K24 coming out here in about a month or so, and we can get more into that. Yeah, next shift's in the building. Not night shift, next shift. Oh, boy. Whoop that trick. I don't really like that chant that much. But yes. Those guys, Trick and Mello, are on fire right now. NXT has a lot, and we saw an NXT presence in the Rumble as well as a TNA presence. How about it? So let's go to the rapid recap first. We're going to go back and quickly go over how we got to the Rumble. Like I said, I was sick for a couple weeks. The boys had stuff going down, so we really didn't get to go over a bunch of that stuff. So let's talk about TNA first. TNA is back. Yeah, total nonstop action. TNA Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, rebranding back to TNA. And you see their new championships here, which look phenomenal. I guess we have like a loose relationship. It sounds pimpish, but I mean, to me, a trick is a woman. I mean, I know tricks can be men and women, and I don't encourage or support beating up women at all. And whoop that trick sounds like you're going to beat up a woman. But I get it. It's over. They're chanting it. Good for them. And TNA, like I said, is really making waves. Now, they were teasing some big signings in the beginning of the year with their first show. Who's going to show up? And we talked in the past about all these releases that WWE had recently. Who is going to show up over there? Who is going to grace us with their presence? Ooh, grace, a little pun there. Yeah, there's a pun. Yes, and I think Natalia already wants to go back over there and stuff too. So TNA is opening the gates, and I think the best part about it is that no Smackdown tonight. Smackdown's on Fridays. Tomorrow night. BTNH fan for life. Boom! You know what today is, my friend? It's the first of the month. Get up, get up, get up. Got your come up, get up. Because it's the first of the month. Yeah, okay. Big shout out to BTNH fan for life. Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. I dig it. I appreciate you, man. It is the first of the month. Get up, get up. Big shout out to BT. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching on the WrestleSense channel or on the Hardcore Sports Network, the best way to support the show, hit the thumbs up, leave us comments, keep that chat over there rocking, man. The mods will leave you along the way, and we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to Wang Chung tonight. So NXT does have a pay-per-view this weekend, which we'll talk about that next week of what went down NXT. And I think we're on the cusp of seeing a bunch of the, not a bunch, but maybe a handful of them up into the main roster. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the Rumble review. So let's talk TNA. Dana Brooke shows up as Ash by Elegance. Now, a lot of people were comparing this to the Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm gimmick. I mean, of course, you're going to see this resemblance, similarities right off the bat, but I'm a wait and see kind of guy. I'm a very different than most wrestling podcasters out there because I focus on the positive. There's enough places you can go and hear people bitch and moan and yell and scream about what they don't like and what they think the wrestling should be and what should happen and this should happen and that's going to happen. Nah, I like to sit back and just enjoy it, have fun. There's a lot of things I don't like about what happens, but I'd rather pick and talk about the things that we do like. I love suspending my disbelief, and I call wrestling matches fights because that's what I want. I want to believe that these people don't like each other. They want to fight each other. They all want to be the best in the world, the champions. I want to talk about the best in the world soon too. So Ash by Elegance, good luck, Dana Brooke. That's a good spot for her. Ali. Now this I really enjoy. The promos that he was putting out were really good, and he's going on a world tour. So you see all the different companies he's going to go to. He did sign with TNA, but an open door policy apparently where he can go other places as well. And Ali's got a lot to give to the wrestling business. I think Matt Cardona kind of laid the groundwork for what people can do in the future. And you don't have to be in AEW or WWE to make waves in the wrestling world. And Matt Cardona really showed that over the past year or so. And I think other people see that and they want to try that out too. I'm sure it's a lot more work for the worker to travel all the time as well and go to all these places, but good for them, man. Good for them. Yes. Ali versus Ospreay. That'll be a good one, Joker. March 2nd. What's March 2nd? House of Glory. Ali, it's your boy's House of Glory. Yep. Riley. Big shout out to you. Charlotte says she would like to go to TNA in a match. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about the Jordan Grace effect here in a little bit. And I really, really am excited about that too. Dolph Ziggler, now known as his regular name, Nick Nemeth, showed up at the end of the TNA pay-per-view, challenged the new champion Moose. But he also stated he wants to work his way up, and I respect that. He doesn't want anything handed to him. He wants to fight whoever he can. There's a lot of great matches. Imagine him versus Alexander. I mean, it's just the list goes on. There's a ton of great talent in TNA, and I'm rooting for them to take that next step so we can have AEW, TNA, and a bunch of other companies that you see down below here. I have to change that Impact to TNA down there. But Dolph Ziggler, now Nick Nemeth, he looks great. He stepped right up over to Moose, the new champion, which you'll see here in a second. Moose, the new TNA champ, and love Moose. I thought we might see Moose at the Rumble too, but you were at the Rumble. Sweet. I saw some pictures of some people that were way up. You were at the Rumble? You went down to Florida or you're in? I don't know. You got me confused, Joker. But I saw some pictures of like the top seats and like the ring was so small. Like I've sat in the peanut heaven for wrestling before, and it's kind of tough because you're looking down, you can't really see much. But it was so far away. Tropicana Field's a big stadium, and it was, you're in Florida. So you were at the Rumble. Wow, that's awesome. Hopefully your seats were better than the ones I saw. Macklin, yeah, it's a great first feud too. Not only the feuds with Nick Nemeth and Ali with the former WWE talent, but some of the ones over there too are really good. So Moose, congratulations on being a new TNA World Champion. Jungle Boy Jack Perry showed up in New Japan. Boy, people were shitting all over this. And he ripped up supposedly his AEW contract. He puts on a little armband that says scapegoat, definitely playing off the thing he had with CM Punk and the fake glass and the Crimea River. I'm not giving up on Jungle Boy Jack Perry. A lot of people are. Yeah, see, Mr. Crimea River. A lot of people are giving up on him. He's got the Hollywood dad, the star quality. No one knows all the details of what happened about the fallout between Punk and him and AEW. And at this point, I don't really care. I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason, and everyone's going to end up in the places where they should be. Yeah, Jesse, we'll be seeing your promo this Saturday. LD's in the house. Good to see you. Saturday for the Get Blazed podcast, we do a pre-show for our eFed, and I welcome you all that's part of that Fed to come on down and drop a promo. So we'll see what happens with Jack Perry, how that unfolds. It's interesting, and in controversy creates cash. The whole story from the past, and we'll see if this guy can make something happen. Will he go back to AEW? What's he going to do over there? It's crazy so far. Yeah, so far no follow-up appearance. Starting in month's tour, you could see him pop up. Exactly. So who knows? Dream match: Mustafa Ali versus Okada. Yes. Okada's another one that I don't have any slides on him or Mercedes Moné, but I'm sure we'll be talking about them very, very soon. Fightful is reporting that former Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné will be showing up in March in AEW. So that's pretty. I mean, I unfollowed a lot of wrestling coverage, social media, because you get polluted by so much information, so much thrown at you, and the word is there were talks with Okada and WWE. There's no concrete evidence if he's going to go. He already has the connection in AEW from the Forbidden Door and all that stuff, and the open policy of being able to fight other places, which I think Okada might like. I mean, it's going to come down to money with both of them and stuff like that. But I'm with you, Kelly. I'm the same exact way. We are on the same page. You got to be a see it to believe it type of wrestling fan anymore nowadays. There's so much misinformation. And keep in mind, folks, WWE, AEW, Tony Khan, Triple H, they know how social media and everything works now. They know that the dirt sheets and the internet media that's out there have connections within. So they're keeping it tighter. I love it that you're not getting all the information slammed in your face or thrown at you. So, and misinformation could be going out there too. So don't believe what you read in the dirt sheets or anywhere. Wait till you see it on TV. It's the beauty of pro wrestling for me. So we'll see what happens with Jungle Man, Jungle Idiot. The Final Testament. What are you guys' thoughts in the chat about the Final Testament? I like Razor and Akam and Razor, yes, coming back with Paul Ellering, Road Warriors, my number one team of all time. Paul Ellering being back with the Final Testament now. I want to call them the Authors of Pain, but a new stable. So I always wanted Karrion Kross to get a little more shine. Another wait and see how it goes thing, but we do have the Final Testament as another stable. And I like Scarlett as a brunette too. It is a cool new group. I'm a big fan of factions. I really like it. And there's another rumor that's out there, Sean, that Malachi Black and Matthews and when their contracts are up, that they're going to be going right back over to WWE, which I wouldn't be mad at that at all. It's the balancing act is going to continue between those two companies and other ones as well. Let's see. A lot of people are saying that, see that they can't take him seriously. I can't believe Karrion right now in the slot. Yeah. And hopefully this stable will help him. Maybe this stable will help him get back over. I think it's cool, but Cross should have eliminated. Yeah. We'll get to the Rumble. We'll get to the Rumble with my thoughts. I'm really interested on your thoughts of the Rumble too. What you thought of the Rumble. We finally got Pete Dunne back. It's been a while. It's about time. It's about time that we have Pete Dunne back. I'm afraid that Buddy Matthews might get lost in the shuffle back in WWE, but he is a great worker. Malachi Black, in my opinion, is getting a raw deal over there. People are saying he doesn't want a job. He doesn't want to lose matches, but he doesn't even have singles matches over there. And Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him, I think he's talented as shit. You know, he should be one of the top 10 wrestlers in the world. We'll see what happens with him. And I'm one of those guys where people think I'm pro AEW, you know, not liking. I love them both. I love them all. I love all down below, all those wrestling companies. I love them all. The local ones, the worldwide ones. I'm 50 years old. I'm from the territory days of old. So I look forward to having, it's good for the wrestling industry. Number one, for everyone to have jobs. Because if there was only WWE, there's a lot of wrestlers that wouldn't have jobs making the good money. So we'll see how it goes. And Pete Dunne finally being back is great. The bruiserweight, they even called him the bruiserweight. And he's a badass. And yeah, the Brawling Brutes look like they might be done. They got Ridge Holland in NXT and Sheamus on the shelf. So give this guy some shine. Pete Dunne. Can't wait to see what they do with him. Him and Tyler Bate, great tag team. Now, this is funny. This is where I will address the situation just a little bit. So Vince supports the hiring of Rock to the board of directors last week, which, if you didn't know, The Rock was added to the board of directors for TKO. I love it. I mean, the name recognition. I mean, some people think he could be one of our presidents of the United States someday. Who knows? The Rock is one of the board members now for TKO, and it's kind of weird how this all happened in like a 2-day period. You know, Vince endorses him. He's a member of the board, and the next thing you know, his daughter is the GM of NXT. I don't think there's any connection. I think they were planning on making Ava Raine a GM before, but the bigger story to me is Regal, the sighting after a year, probably a little bit over a year. We finally got Regal back on TV. A lot of people were thinking losing Cody or CM Punk is AEW's biggest downfall. I think losing this guy could be the biggest downfall. He should have been Tony's right-hand man running the show if you were me. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll still do movies. And then you have the whole Rock versus Roman. When will that happen? You know, I don't know. Do you guys think there was a coincidence? The same day Rock goes to the board that Ava, his daughter, ends up being the GM. I'm still a wait to see with her as a GM as well. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of her as a fighter or persona. Yeah, I just see The Rock every time I look at her. It's like, but I'm willing to give her a chance as a GM. I always thought those GM labels could really help the show and help that persona. So to have Regal back in the fold is huge. I love it. This has been news for quite some time, and now we hear Raw going to Netflix January of 25, SmackDown to USA in October, NXT to the CW in October. Business, money, future. Streaming services are the future. So I have no problem with this. I think eventually cutting the cable has been I cut the cable a long time ago and went to YouTube TV. So Raw going to Netflix. I'm already a subscriber, so I'm not mad at it. I want to see how they present it. Will it still be 3 hours? Will there be as many commercials? You got to take advantage of the advertising with the millions of people watching Raw and SmackDown and such. But interesting, just shuffling of brands here. CW getting NXT. It's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out, but the deals are done, and wrestling on TV will change a little bit. In Canada, NXT, SmackDown, Raw, all on Netflix. There you go. I dig it. Yeah, the international stuff is still a question too as well. Danielson, I think I wouldn't be, him and Moxley eventually someday, sure. I think Brian Danielson is locked in with a very important role in AEW, and I hope he stays there, and I hope he gets more and more power, because I love that the man has a great wrestling mind, in my opinion, and I wouldn't mind seeing him be one of Tony's right-hand man and help running. I don't know how much longer he and Sting's retiring soon, and some of the other older wrestlers won't be around as much or at all. But I think AEW has a nice little farm system of young talent too that will be interesting. Let's see what Riley says. Netflix is going to have to overhaul entirely due to them being no live content section. Yeah, they've done a few live specials, but with the audience that comes with WWE, I can see them revamping and having more live stuff. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting how the TV contracts pan out. Of course, like I said, I'm not going to get into detail on the allegations and all, the reports and everything that go along with this and the names that go along with it and all. It's horrible, horrible situation. But he did resign. He still owns a lot of stock, 10% or something, I believe. But we're going to leave it as see you later, move on. That's how. And we're going to focus on and like I said, if you want the details on the allegations in a situation, Fightful did a phenomenal job yesterday summarizing it all up and letting everyone know exactly where everything stands. So I'd rather you guys go over there and watch that than me talking about it. If you want to find out more about the details about all the allegations and everything against Vince, it's really nothing new. It's just come to the forefront once again, rearing its ugly head. So we move on. Hey, someone teased a Royal Rumble appearance. My goodness. Another one has been a controversial character in the past, but a legend in itself. Will probably still get a pop if he showed up somewhere. He's in the commercial for 2K24 and stuff. So good luck, Air Hulk. I thought that was funny that he teased what a promo that we had with these two, and even Drew and Cody last week in the ring, which led to the final two of the Rumble, which I'm sure this is no spoilers by this point here, that Cody and Punk, their promo was amazing, was phenomenal between the two, the back and forth, the jabs. It was great. I'm more CM Punk here. I'm more, it was really good stuff between these two. It's just a shame that Punk's injury is going to take him out of WrestleMania. It was a torn tricep. So he's out of work for a while now. 4 to 6 months is normally the typical for that type of injury. And it just sucks. Terrible timing. I mean, I saw somewhere on social media like a timeline. CM Punk returns to AEW and then injury, suspension, injury, injury, this. It was just so, I mean, I've never been a huge CM Punk fan, but there's no denying he's a huge draw on pro wrestling. And the injury bug hitting him really, really hurts. WrestleMania card where, everyone's thinking the Punk Seth Rollins would be great and the Cody Roman main events, but we'll see how they work that out for Mania. 2K24 brought it up earlier. We'll talk more in detail Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, but just a quick rundown of notes from the videos today. They invited a bunch of the big time YouTubers, streamers, gamers to go play the game with some of the Xavier Woods and Cody Rhodes. You'll see the videos all over social media. Follow me on social media if you want. I'm retweeting a bunch of it too as well. But just to break down some new features, and we'll get more into detail on 2K24 as it gets closer to the release. But you got guest referees as well as real referees like Robinson and the lady and all the real referees that are there will be in the game, and the ability to make your own special guest referee. The ambulance match, we've seen some highlights of that already. The casket match, multiplayer backstage brawls is nice that they're bringing that. We've seen all the backstage brawls that you've had, but only one-on-one now. You can have 4 people fighting in backstage. More weapons. And I do have I'm not a gamer, Riley, so they'd be stupid to fly me out there for it. Yeah, the up, down, down has great videos as well. It's all over the place on X and all social medias. More weapons. I'm going to show some screenshots on Saturday from Smack Talk's video that he put out earlier today. And some more weapons, trash cans, water bottles, etc. Plus the ability to throw the weapons. Of course, my first question, because you guys know I run a AI versus AI eFed, will the AI do that stuff on itself? Will the AI, we have a hard time, the AI picking up weapons on its own. Will the AI throw weapons on its own? Please, I hope so. I'm sure we'll have plenty of crashes. Yes, in the backstage area, now you can go into an elevator as well. And yeah, the idea, a lot of people are saying, and I didn't play 2K14, but they're saying it's a lot of the similarities of 14 just updated into today. So I'm down for it. I'm really excited about it, but we got to be skeptical. There's going to be issues. We twist and turn the game to whatever we want. Yes, spectator mode's another thing I want to talk about, where hopefully you can take off the title on the screen where it shows all the camera angles, because while you're doing an AI versus AI match, you can press buttons to switch the camera. And I love that. You can go from the hard cam to a ramp cam now. So those who do custom stages, you can see the stage while you're fighting. So the different camera angles, which, if you think about it, should have been something in all these games, just a click of a button for a different camera angle. But I'm excited about the different camera angles. You can actually fix the camera to be on the ramp the whole time in the settings. But during an AI match, there is a little list that'll come up and you can switch it. I'm even more interested because I'm going to PC this year. So I'm going to be playing off a PC, and I don't know how. I'm used to having the controller in my hand. So I don't know how that's going to work. I'm going to use a keyboard and a mouse and stuff now. So I'll be picking the brains of anybody out there that plays 2K games on PC very soon as well. What else do we have? The blow for blow. You can go, in the beginning of a match, a face off and right, left, and the cheers and the boos. And then they start rabbit punching each other right off of it. So I love that little feature. That's it. Once again, will the AI trigger that on itself? Will they start bashing each other on their own? I don't know. We'll see. Super finishers is another thing they're bringing back. The announce table, you can clear it off differently. You can climb on it. You can do regular moves, which the table doesn't break. You can do moves off the table. You can climb onto the table. So the announce table, more things you can do with the announce table. But once again, we're AI versus AI with the eFed world. Will that happen? The crawl pin animation, where your guy is wounded and he crawls over, drapes his arm over whatever to pin. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear the crawl pin animation is back as well. And like we've been talking about, different backstage updates. The ambulance is backstage. There's an elevator. The pop machine, you can get a can of soda and throw it at someone and stuff like that. That's a good question. I have not heard if they take war games out of this game. That's a big L for me, because that's one of my favorite things in the last game. Please don't. I hope they have it in here. So, like I said, when it gets closer to launch, we'll get more into details of these features and showing screenshots and stuff. What's up, Daniel Barry? Keep those thumbs up coming if you guys haven't already. Appreciate you. Yeah, we got some. We're getting to double digits here. Yeah, I mean, I'll riot myself, because War Games is one of my favorite parts of 23. And if they don't have it, I hope not. What I'm hoping is just the opposite. Give us War Games, but let us customize the arena. Let us use our own arena for the War Games instead of just that small arena. Are you sure, Aaron? Have you seen it somewhere? I hope you're right. I'll take your word for it. And then spectator mode's the last thing I have on here. We already talked about that. So we will go over in more detail as it gets closer to the release, WWE 2K24. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty crazy. All right, so let's get rid of this one and go right to what we want to talk about here today is the Royal Rumble. We're going to try to make some sense of it right after this. So those that are watching on Hardcore Sports Network, and if you're not, if you're subscribed to the WrestleSense podcast, make sure you go over and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network as well. I'm a member of that fantastic group covering wrestling, football, baseball, basketball, and everything in between, hockey. And they have a show over there that started. It's monthly, and I am going to be the special guest in February. What's so funny about that? In February on the 13th, next Tuesday. Not this coming Tuesday, the following Tuesday, I will be a guest on the Queens of the Ring. So there's 3 ladies over there that run that wonderful, wonderful podcast, and I'll be on there with them on the 13th. It should be a blast. It should be a blast. So I'll be advertising that as it comes closer, and I hope to see you guys there. Let's talk the Rumble. I watch him every day on his podcast. I'm a big fan. And when Let's Go hitting Pat McAfee came out at the beginning of the Royal Rumble, I loved it. So right off the bat, McAfee at commentary, you got me. And I was excited about the Rumble already. Rumble's probably one of my favorite. I was there back when Bautista and they booed Rey Mysterio and wanted Daniel Bryan at 30 at the Rumble in Pittsburgh. And it's so awesome to see, wait for the countdown, and then someone comes out. Oh, the Royal Rumble's probably the most fun I've had in a wrestling event. And if it comes back to Pittsburgh, you bet your ass I'm going to be there again. The one thing that was a drawback, and I've seen this all over social media too, is the generic music and the Titantron. Without a big Titantron showing someone's name right away, the reactions for people coming out were really delayed. So whoever's making the music, I know it's Def Rebel or whoever, they're not doing that great. Yeah, hey, let's go. And the music, just, I mean, you can't tell who's, like, if you hear this, I mean, you know who's coming out, right? If you hear, if you smell, you know who's coming out. This Royal Rumble, that's the one drawback, in my opinion, for this Rumble show is you really had to wait 4 or 5 seconds. They even showed Seth once up in the balcony. He didn't know who they were coming out. So I think they need to do a better job. And I'm pretty sure with all some of the flashback that came from that, the flack that they were getting from not having the big Tron, which I don't mind the small entranceways and stuff and the long entranceway, but the music needs to pop. Those first few seconds need to be something spectacular so you know who's coming out. That's pretty much one of my only complaints about the Rumble. And of course, Nia Jax. This is interesting. I saw this. Rhea sitting in chair number 3 prior. I don't know if this was planned on purpose or not, but it just so happens, was this foreshadowing? Number 3 actually won the Women's Royal Rumble. So I don't know. Yeah, the fireworks and the pyro weren't there either as well, Wally. So Rhea Ripley sitting in this little in the number 3 chair. Was that foreshadowing or was it coincidence? I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. So let's do. We're gonna do highlights of some of the entrances, and then we'll talk about the match as a whole. First one we have is the Women's Rumble opening up. I did not mind the fact that they only had 4 names announced. It made you think, was there going to be a bunch of legends, which we did not see any legends. And even in the scrum afterwards, they explained there were no legends because the roster's so stacked right now. And I'm cool with that. I wouldn't mind it. I would have liked maybe 1 legend in each Rumble instead, but we didn't get any legends in the Rumble. Surprises, when you only put 4 names out there, you got to think, how many are going to be NXT? Is the TNA presence going to be there? You know, who else will be there? I don't know. You know, it's kind of weird. Yeah, the Kyrie thing was kind of weird where she latched onto the side and fell. Asuka did call an audible. You can hear her say, eliminate me. and came over and got her eliminated. But I don't mind that. I don't call them botches. That's just the way it happened. I'd rather, if little things go wrong here and there, I don't have a big problem with it. I'm not going to shit on things like that unless it's Nia Jax in the middle, and I can't stand her. A lot of people enjoyed the women's better than the men. I did too, but mine probably wasn't as big of a difference between the two. Yeah, I've talked to Sean about this already, that I think 1 legend in each would have been nice. But there were surprises. There definitely was surprises. And it started early with the ladies, with Naomi coming back. I mean, this one, not really a big surprise. She dropped the TNA Impact Knockouts Championship not too long ago. And then you think, yeah, she's coming back. She's, you know, married to an Uso. She's been there forever. New regime in WWE. Bring her back. So it was great to see her back. And then we got an even bigger surprise, which was connected to her. It's kind of weird that the Usos were one, that her and her Let me go back in a second. Her and her husband both came out at number 2. So I guess they were the 2s, not the 1s. But yeah, following her, you got Jordynne Grace, and she looked phenomenal. Amazing. She looked great. Jordynne Grace in phenomenal shape, came down, did some damage. And like we talked about earlier, that little open door to possibly maybe a WWE woman will go challenge her for that title. I did hear on Fightful last night that she has a year and a half left on her contract over there. Now, stranger things have happened, but after her performance in this Rumble, I pretty much said, when her contract's up, bring her in right away. She is a dominant performer, and some of her standoffs, face-offs, and stuff like that were great. And you got one right off the bat, which was the 2 that just fought for the Knockouts Championship in TNA not too long ago. So to see them embrace, break a little character a little bit there, and then go at it, I loved it. There you go. There you go. Yes, indeed. Kelly knew that slide was coming up next. So yeah, they embraced, and then they went at it, beat the hell out of each other. The Women's Rumble had some slight parts that were questionable, but how about and I love Maxine Dupuis, but she might just want to be a manager. I'm not sure, or get more work, because she needs a little more work, in my opinion. She has the look, but yeah, it look a little rough from time to time. So Valhalla coming out at number 24, and then here comes R-Truth in the Women's Rumble. Now, on Monday, they were showing the tumbler again, where they were picking numbers. It's kind of weird that both the men and the women were picking out of the same tumbler. You got to kind of suspend your disbelief on that one. But when R-Truth picked his number and he said, "Oh, does that mean I got to quarantine?" I thought he had number 19 for COVID-19. But yes, everything that R-Truth is doing is gold right now. I always say 3 things I want in my wrestling. I want to be entertained. I want to laugh. I want to, and I want to be surprised. Yeah, she needs to go back into the dungeon a little longer. You are correct for Maxine Dupuis. But the whole thing with R-Truth coming out and where's all the men? It was good stuff. R-Truth is gold right now, and he's a future Hall of Famer for sure. First TNA World Champion. Jade Cargill at number 28. The way it was handled, in my opinion, was really well. Her first 2 matches in WWE very well may be a Rumble and a Chamber. She looks fantastic. She always has. If they're going to keep her away from singles competition for a while, it might be for a reason. They're seasoning her. They got her in the Performance Center working. And she even said she's glad to have her time in AEW to prepare her for this. Think about some of the legends like the Stings and the Moxleys and the Jerichos and a lot of the women, the Serena Deebs and the women that have been around for a while as well, that are over in AEW that she could pick their brain from. And star quality. She's an athlete by nature. And what she did in this Rumble was phenomenal. I was impressed, and I really think they're going to draw the line. Be careful with her. The suplexes with her and Bianca sizing off, staring down, her eliminating Nia Jax. I loved it. I loved it. So, yeah, by herself. And I do think, and I think that, and I've heard a lot of rumors about Jade versus Becky or Jade versus Bianca, but Jade and Bianca versus the Kabuki Warriors for the tag titles at Mania, sign me up, bro. I'm down. And we also had, let's see what else we got. 29, Tiffany Stratton, NXT call up. I think she's ready, about ready. Hopefully, she'll be up, and I heard she's going to be in SmackDown tomorrow, possibly. So we'll see how that goes. But Tiffany looked great as well at number 29. And then everyone was hoping for AJ Lee. I saw everywhere because Punk is in the company. Maybe AJ would make her appearance at 30. But the return of Liv Morgan at number 30. And I mean, I'm okay with it. It doesn't have to be a big surprise at number 30 every year, So maybe set that precedent, and down the line you see a bigger surprise at 30 next year or the year after. But if you have a huge surprise at 30 every year, I don't know. So Liv coming out at the end, still a great return. I agree, Kelly. And Liv did a great job. You had the stare down between Bianca and Jade, which is great. And I do agree they would be a phenomenal tag team. And once again, if Jade is still coming along in a tag match, you can still hide some of that. It doesn't have to always be focused on her as she's still learning and getting even better. So I dig that. I'm cool with it. Bayley winning the Rumble. How do you guys feel in the chat? I never realized until she won the Rumble. Number one, that now all 4 women of the Horsewomen have won a Rumble. But Bayley's never had a one-on-one Mania fight. So this year, obviously, she's probably going to tease that she's going to pick Rhea, but she's going to end up fighting Io somehow at Mania. But well-deserved, of course. Bayley, she got one hell of a pop. For someone who's technically a heel with damage control, she got one hell of a pop. People were with her. She pulled it out at the end. I was good with it because of the story that goes along with it. You know, they're probably going to tease Rhea, but end up going with Io, and I'm down with it. So, Bayley, congratulations, your 2024 Royal Rumble winner for the ladies. LD, LD. We talked about that. Look. I know you showed up a little late, but we talked about that. Yeah. She was number 3, Bayley. The crowd was behind her. I mean, and that's strange because technically she's a heel. But yeah, Rhea was sitting in chair number 3, which was Bayley's number. Let's get back to where we were. So yeah, here you go. You got 4 of the final ones that were in there. Jade, Tiffany, Bianca sitting low down on the floor, and Liv, she's a little higher. Here, Liv. For those that don't know, she got busted with weed. I had to do my Liv was a little higher joke, you know. The canned laughter saves me because it's a bad joke. But those who know me know, corny jokes, bad jokes. Yeah, easy. I knew Sean would catch it. I thought Sasha did win one. I thought they said all 4 women won a Rumble. Maybe not. All right. She's your queen. All right. So I wouldn't mind these 4 and 2 more. Maybe Natalya because of her experience and Nia because she's Nia in the chamber. So I put these 4 and 2 more in the chamber for all I know. That I'm down for it. Very interested to see how they're going to load up the chamber this year. Or will they do a tag chamber? They've done a tag chamber before in the past, I think. And the tag team division in the men's side is really finally bountiful in WWE. So I'm happy about that. So let's look at the numbers. An hour and 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Bayley was the longest in it. 5 seconds, Valhalla. If Bayley gets the actual main event on one of the nights, she could say all 4. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But I was surprised to know that Bayley never had a one-on-one Mania match. She's never had a one-on-one Mania match. She had a 4-way, a fatal 4-way, but never a one-on-one. 5 seconds for Valhalla and 8 eliminations for Nia Jax. I mean, as much as I hate Nia Jax, build her up as the beast, blah, blah, blah. Build her up as a monster. And then maybe we will see Jade versus Nia one-on-one someday at Mania. Who knows? I think wait Jade as long as possible before you go one-on-one. So here's your women's Rumble from start to finish. Natalya and Naomi started out. Bayley, we talked about my girl Indy Hartwell getting dumped out quick. I love that she was the first eliminated. You had the Asuka and Kairi Sane spots. Katana Chance. You didn't do. I thought she was going to do some climby wild shit too. Ivy Now is a beast. The Bulldog. She looked great as well. Selena, Piper Niven catching and pretending to drop. Oh, it was good stuff. Shotzi brought the tank down. Zoe Starks always looks like a beast as well. So, I mean, a lot of people praising the women's Rumble, and I'm right there with you. I thought it was a great, great women's Rumble. Fatal 4-way, pretty anticlimactic. A lot of people thought and knew that Roman was going to retain. To me, it was how will he retain? And will it start something else? Like rumors that AJ and LA Knight will be facing each other at Mania. Where's Randy Orton fall in this whole picture? But Roman did end up winning. There was some good for the casual fans, some good false finishes where stacking them up. And I think it was AJ to try to pin all three, and each of them having their shot here and there. And the time is not, I mean, when you have, I mean, a lot of people might not be happy about it, but the time's not right. When you got Cody and Rock waiting for those Roman matches soon, and I'll die on this hill too. Roman versus Rock does not need a championship. It might be next year. We'll see. It was a good four-way. They did a great job. Whoever produced this match put it together to make it look like who's going to win, who's going to do well. And that's what happened. You get your world champion on. I mean, we all bitch about Roman doesn't fight enough. So when he does, I can't complain. You get a little shine for these other four. And the fact AJ Styles looks like a monster as well. He's one of my all-time favorites. So it was great to see that too. The others, there was only 4 matches. Now this one, the referee spotted the Nux. Can you believe it? I love it. It's a little twist. And the fact that KO and Logan look like they're going to have a rematch. I'm down for that. So KO also found out he fought this match with a broken foot, which is very crazy too. It was a small fracture, but KO's he's a man, he's a beast, and he did a great job. So the brass knucks came out. KO used them. There's one thing that people are talking about Logan Paul, as well as his great athleticism, the knowledge of the game, the wrestling, the crazy high-flying stuff. A lot of people I've seen talking about that Logan Paul doesn't sell very well. Like, if he's going to improve anywhere, it's in his selling of moves. And I didn't really go back and watch the match to see that, but I don't know what your thoughts on that out there as well. Is that no, it can't be a triple threat. It can't be. I've seen that rumor out there too. It can't be a triple threat. Cody's got to finish that story this year, and Rock Roman can wait till next year. For me, Rock Roman I want a huge buildup for that. I want Heyman and Roman to say, Rock, you're not going to walk back in here and just get the match with me. You got to fight Jay. You got to fight Jimmy. You got to fight Solo. Hell, you got to fight Jacob and Fatu and Zilla Fatu. Sign them. Make Rock over months and months jump through hoops to get to Roman. That's what I want to see. I want to see a long story built up to Roman Rock. I don't want to see Rock shows up and he hasn't shown up, and next thing you know, him and Roman are main event in Mania. I know The Rock has a lot going on. I know his movie schedule and everything like that, but I personally would love to see them throw everything at Rock before he gets a shot at Roman. Just my opinion. I would have liked the ref to actually have looked at the hand before calling. Yeah, I mean, it happened kind of quick, but it's something that you don't normally see, so I'm good with it. Plus, if these two fight again, it makes sense. It leads to another battle between these two. We're here to make wrestle sense. All right, let's talk about the main event, the Royal Rumble, 30-man Rumble. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only 7 names. I don't know. Has the Money in the Bank guy been in the Rumble before? Normally, the Money in the Bank's already cashed in before the Rumble comes around, right? But, hey, through this match, there was so many stories advanced. Hey, Big Chuck's in the building. Great to see you, my friend. Yeah, bring Rikishi in to do to ref one of the matches, to confront Rock. You know, give us a long build up before you give us Roman Rock. I'm good with that. I'm really good with that, and that's what I'm hoping for. But who knows? Who knows? We got 10 likes. If you get a couple more likes out there, appreciate everybody. And if you're watching the replay, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the Rumble and everything that happened. All right, so let's see here. Let's break down some of the highlights of the entrance and then talk about the Rumble as a whole. And you guys keep giving me your opinions out there. This I could not believe. Back in the day, Bret Hart and Lex Luger, co-winners of the Rumble. But live On the broadcast, Michael Cole said, "We never had two winners, but we did go to overtime once with Bautista and Cena in the Rumble match." How could they let that slip? I don't understand that. Yeah, I think it's the first time the Money in the Bank holder was in it. Like I said, most of the time, the Money in the Bank's already cashed in by the time Rumble comes around. How do you miss this? How do you say that there's never been two winners when you can easily go back and look at the history of the Rumble and see that Luger and Bret Hart both won the Rumble? Yeah, it's a big flub. And I mean, not only the mistake, but never correcting it. Don't you think someone would have been like, Michael Cole, you might want to, retract that message and let them know that there were a tie? I mean, when he said it, my jaw dropped watching the Rumble. I was like, did he say that? But nonetheless, I caught it and I thought, man, only other Money in the Bank still alive during the Rumble was Seth, and he was in the title match. Yes. Yeah, given those 30 years. Yeah, but if you're Michael Cole, who I love in commentary ever since Vince is out of his ear, I would have liked Priest being in the Rumble if he didn't have the Money in the Bank. Cody winning was all right, but would have been nice. It's part of the story. It's part of the story, Kevin. Now, story. That's all we're hearing. Look at the commercial for 2K24. Even Hogan, my story started a long time ago, brother. It's all story, everyone. Yes, we like stories in wrestling, but there's many, many types of stories in pro wrestling. You can tell a story just by working on a leg. You can tell a story by working the audience. There's so many ways to tell a story in wrestling. The Cody story, and now everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story they want to complete. I just don't want any more, don't tell us it's a story. Just give us the story. Let's break down some of the highlights of the Rumble here, folks. Jay and Jimmy coming out at number 1 and number 2. A lot of people were saying we didn't really get a payoff from this, like one eliminating the other or anything. I don't mind it. This is a tease for the WrestleMania match. A couple months ago in the Bloodline story, the storyline of the Bloodline has kind of dissipated. It's different now. It's not as prevalent as it was before. It's not always the main thing every week, but these two sizing up at the beginning, and the Fatus were there. They had, the family in the building. And to see everyone doing, Jay and Jimmy starting us out, it was a very nice touch. But once again, Jimmy and his wife were the 2s. Jay is the 1. I wouldn't mind the Rumble being for the champ one year. That would be so. Can you imagine the promos and the people talking about it? The opportunity for 30 individuals to have the world title, whether it's the world championship or the WWE championship. They could have done that with Seth this year. But then again, Cody finishing the story by winning the Rumble to get the title. Hey, just get the title, Cody. But to have a Rumble to win the title, that would be crazy. All right, what else did we get here? Andrade. There's one music that made sense. El Idolo. When you heard El Idolo, it was Andrade. He came with the mask. He looked phenomenal. He looked great. Kind of figured he'd be going back to, and I don't mind. As much as I'm a big AEW fan, to see some of these guys going back, I don't mind. Everyone, like I said earlier in the show, everyone's going to end up being where they should be. To Andrade in at number 4. Carmelo Hayes at number 5. So, he's been on WWE TV as well as NXT, and I think he's about to be called up. I think I've heard that him and Trick are going to be on SmackDown tomorrow night, so we'll see that. So Carmelo Hayes in at number 5, and he is him. He is a superstar, and bring him up ASAP, in my opinion. Same thing with another one we'll see here soon. This guy! Now, rumor has it, and it's been from a lot of outlets, that he had Brock's spot. And what an opportunity that Braun Breaker got and took advantage of. Same thing with Gunther in the name. We all shat on the Gunther name from Walter. But in hindsight now, I like Gunther better than Walter right now. No offense, Wally. No offense, Walter. But the opportunity, I first thought that somebody else took Brock's spot. We'll talk about that soon. But they said that Braun eliminated who Brock was going to eliminate. The only thing I think that might have been different, I think it was Ivar that did a springboard off the second rope and Braun speared him. I think Brock might have caught him and slammed him or something, but Braun Breaker looked amazing. A little bit too much spray tan, but that's his thing. I do think his name should be Rex Steiner. I think the name Rex Steiner would resonate with wrestling fans a little more, but Braun Breaker's here, and I think they should call him up soon as well because he was a superstar in this Rumble, in my opinion. He did. Yes, thank you, Riley. He looked like $1 million. They were talking. Yes, that's what I was just going to say. Gav took the words out of my mouth. 23 miles an hour coming off the ropes. It's weird they mentioned that because I was watching NXT last week and I'm going, holy shit, look at him run those ropes. Like you see some ladies run the ropes where they barely touch the ropes and waddle over, and some smaller wrestlers, they don't hit the ropes as hard. Some of the bigger wrestlers just kind of barely hit the ropes and run them. Braun Breaker is going 100% full blast off those ropes. 23 miles per hour, they were saying, faster than Tyreek Hill, who's the fastest person in the NFL. I loved it. Braun Breaker proved he is ready, in my opinion. You know, listen more spray to yeah. He learned from his dad and uncle. Listen, kid, more spray tanning. Here's your fanny pack, too. But Rex Steiner should have been his name, in my opinion, but Braun Breaker is great, and he's phenomenal. He's going to be a superstar for many, many, many years. This storyline furthered where Rezar and Akam come down and, you know, battling with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, furthering a feud in the middle of a Rumble. Nah, Cora's with me rehabbing. She's here. So this is another reason why I love the Rumble. These guys show up. They're not in the Rumble. And then you get a little brawl to enhance a story. I think I have another. Yeah. You have the story with Bobby Lashley and the Final Testament with Karrion Kross. So you're furthering a storyline in the middle of the Rumble. Love it. That's what I think the Rumble should be. Start new feuds, enhance feuds, reintroduce people, etc., etc. Good shit. When it came to this in the middle of the Rumble, I loved it. Woo! Rumor has it, it was supposed to be Brock and Gunther at Mania. Will we get this at Mania? Sign me up. I wouldn't be mad if Gunther ends up fighting Seth and winner take all for both belts or something too. But to see these two face off, and I just remember when it was Walter and how big he was bigger and how he is someone said it yesterday. I forget who it was. I don't want to credit the person who said it, that he is the consummate wrestler. He's like the perfect wrestler. He's so believable. His promos are good. His ring work is good. He doesn't have a solid finisher either. That's what's weird. Like, he doesn't have a signature finisher. He does that stack power bomb and some great moves, but he's just I keep saying beast through this whole, you know, there's no Brock beast, but Gunther also looked like $1 million. These two, definitely hard hitting. Amazing to see these two go at it. Mania match? That could definitely be. We'll see. Pat McAfee's music hits again, and we got a surprise coming up off commentary. Now, when it first happened, I kind of shit on it because I love Pat McAfee. Now, he wasn't dressed for it. There's rumors out there that he had no idea he was going to be in this spot. It's a little hard for me to believe that, but hey, why not? Maybe it is. Maybe he didn't know. He had to know. Anyway, he gets in the ring and sees Omos and Braun, and then teases eliminating himself. Goes back to the outside, stands on the apron. Then he goes in like he was going to tease. He's going to attack Omos. which a lot of people knock Omos. I think if they repackage him right, build him up as the Giant, they may be able to use Omos here some way in the future. I'm not giving up on Omos. He's not one of my favorites. I'm not a big fan. He's not going to do anything phenomenal, but that monster, that great, they did it with what's her name last year, jumping out of the crowd to come into the Rumble. So him coming in here. Now, I watched this podcast obviously on Monday to find out why, and they pulled his card and said, "Why didn't you fight?" He was like, "Are you kidding me? Did you see the boots I was wearing? I wasn't prepared." So he sold it really well, and he played it off like, "Would you get in there with Omos and Braun?" Yeah, Michelle McCool out of the crowd last year was cool, pun intended. And McAfee getting back in the commentary booth. Actually, Corey Graves, both Pittsburgh boys, mind you. Corey Graves had a nice comment where he said he broke character because him and Pat bump heads on commentary, but he said he loved the fact that Pat was back. And now Pat McAfee is your Raw commentator, color commentator. So we got Barrett on SmackDown. We got McAfee here on Mondays now. So I'm down for it. I like it. And I'm hoping Corey and Barrett can just bounce back play-by-play in color. Both of them are good at both, if you ask me. So Pat McAfee in the match, 38 seconds or something, and out of the match. I think it's funny. R-Truth. Talk about first in the Rumble. We got the first hot tag in a Rumble. R-Truth is gold, man. He is gold. Everything he does, he should be R Midas Truth, because everything he touches turns to gold. He's hilarious. Plus, not to mention what a great worker he is. And at his age as well, he does not look like his age. He's in his 50s, people. Is he? Or late 40s? I think he's in his 50s. R-Truth, tag me, Dominic. Tag me. And a hot tag in a fucking Royal Rumble. Classic. Classic, people. Everyone keeps saying it, and I agree. Protect R-Truth with everything you got, people. Protect this man. I made a joke about it the other day that on Vince McSham's podcast, shout out to my man Vince McSham and the Nation Network, that it'd be funny if he was in the back once and he looks into a trash can and finds the 24/7 championship and pulls it back out and pretends he's the champ again for a while. He's hilarious. I love R-Truth. I love comedy in my wrestling. CM Punk, number 27 in the Rumble. And, of course, the bad news that he tears his tricep and out 4 to 6 months now. But CM Punk in at number 27. Talk about him a little bit more here in a moment at the end. Sami Zayn, a lot of people wanted other people at 30. Big E, a lot of different names that could have been coming out at number 30. And it was Sami. I felt bad for Sami. I mean, for Liv and Sami, two of my favorites, great workers, to come out of 30. I mean, it was a little anticlimactic to many, but Sami's great. I wouldn't even mind Sami going after Sami, Seth, and Drew. Sami, Drew, and Seth, all three. Make that the three-way. There's your Mania match. Seth, Drew, and Sami. I'd be down for that. But Sami coming out at number 30. And you ended up with this final four. Gunther and Drew, Cody and Punk. And it ended up being an all AEW. People are going to kill me for this. I know they were originally in WWE or ROH and stuff before that, but to see Punk and Cody, who not long ago were over there in AEW, and for even Cody in the post scrum saying, I thought Punk and I would have ran into each other over there in the other place, but it ends up being here. And Cody and Punk, the final two, there was a lot of great teases of both of them winning. And you got to think too, when you're on the apron, one slip and you can screw up WrestleMania by falling and be the wrong person winning. To me, a lot of people think Cody should have won last year against Roman in Mania. Would I have been mad if he did? No. But now when he fights Roman this year, you have this whole year plus of story to tell. He had to face Brock. He had that series with Seth. he had to deal with hard times from losing to Roman. So as many people say, he should have won last year, blah, 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 blah. And then, yes, the final say, I'm not losing to Dusty's kid. And right after that, to lose to Dusty's kid, you see the other side of Punk right at the end, and then Cody wins it. I don't mind it. Wins the last time, is it 26 years or something since someone won back-to-back Rumbles or some shit like that? I have no problem with that. I have no problem. Now, this as well, and I don't know if this is something on Raw that they called an audible, throw him out there to make you think that maybe Cody will pick Seth instead. But you got to think he's got to pick Roman. But I like the tease. Why not fight me? Don't you want this title, the Dusty title? But no, the WWE title is the one that Dusty never won, not the new title. So I don't mind that. Exactly as always, the babyface struggling to get the big belt. Best for business always is the heel holding the title. And the story, I mean, just think, if Cody and Roman happen this Mania, you're going to have this big video package showing everything Cody had to go through to get to this part. It's always been that way, yes. And a lot of people that are complaining that Cody should have won last year, they're in their 20s, they're younger, they didn't live through the old days like we didn't see how wrestling was. And I don't mind it. Everyone's allowed to their own opinion. Everyone has their own wrestle sense. That's the whole idea behind this podcast. I'm not knocking anyone's opinion. You can have whatever opinion you want. But Cody losing last year and maybe winning this year, that arc and that story of him having to dig out of the dirt and continue and risk injury every time he goes out there too, to finally get to the end. Another unpopular opinion, yes, but his opinion that's out there because Hogan's reign is only a couple months away. A lot of people think Roman retains. Cody has to find another way. And you never know. You never know. And a lot of people are saying, right now, Cody wins the Rumble. It's anticlimactic. We all know he's going to beat Roman at the Mania. We don't though. Roman might retain. Who knows? They're probably going to make you think Cody can't win. He's going to get beat down. Roman will have all these people probably helping him like he always does. Cody's got to find a way to overcome. You never know. You never know. And that's the beauty of pro wrestling. A lot of the dirt sheets, when the Rumble day came, I was off of social media. I did not want any spoilers because Rumble is one of the biggest surprise shows for me. So I didn't want spoilers. And I'm glad I didn't. The Jordan Grace thing, I kind of heard a little bit, possibly. But there wasn't a ton of surprises. We talked about it earlier. No legends in either Rumble. But the roster is stacked right now. These were really good Rumble matches, folks. Both of them. My opinion, I was entertained. This stuff, too. Showing Roman up in the super box and a very concerned Paul Heyman. Which, Paul Heyman, Hall of Fame, please, this year in Philadelphia. Come on, man. But to show him up there and to show Seth up there as well, as the match is concluding, that's old school. That's good shit. Just like them on AEW last night, showing guys walking in the back, doing their interview before their match. I loved it. That reminds me of old school. Just like the interviews they used to do called the Okerlund position on the stage, where you see the fans and the ring behind them, and they're doing interviews on the stage. I miss that. Bring that back, WWE. I love it. So this feel showing Seth and showing Roman was great. And when Cody won, he made no mistakes pointing to Roman and saying, that's where I'm finishing the story. I'm coming for you. Now, the tease with Seth is great. It gives you intrigue. It makes you think, hey, maybe because Cody knows he could beat Seth. He's beat him before. Maybe he takes that road and goes, but that's not the belt that Dusty went after. As much as it looks a little bit like the big gold and stuff like that, the WWE Championship is the story. So Cody, the winner. I love teasing maybe going after the World Championship instead of the Universal, but Cody Rhodes wins 2 Rumbles in a row, and I'm good with it. It was a great Rumble. It was a great show. I could nitpick a few things, But that's not what I'm here to do. There's plenty of other podcasts you can go if you want to hear people shit all over it and say how it should have happened and what should have happened and this should have happened, that should have happened type stuff. Cody Rhodes is the man right now. He's the John Cena. He's the top dog. He is the man as far as faces go. Eventually, I'd love to see a heel turn with him down the line. Hopefully after he gets the belt. I just saw a clip and I forgot about this. When Dusty joined the NWO, a lot of people might not realize that Dusty joined the NWO back in the day. But Cody as a face right now is a merchandise. You know, they're selling those belts like crazy. They're selling his merchandise like crazy. He's the top face. He is the face of the company right now. Someone who helped start AEW is the face of WWE. I love it. Love all the indie and other companies, roster getting, people talking on social media, dropping hints. Yeah, Camille's another one too that you'll probably see. I think send her to NXT and bring her up like they're doing Jade, man. I think, can you imagine the Camille and the Jade and the Rhea and the Bianca? And oh my goodness, they got such a great women's roster right now. They have such a great women's roster. Hey, the other company's building their women's roster too here. AEW, we'll talk about that here in a second, just briefly as we close up the show here. But Cody Rhodes is your Royal Rumble winner, pointing at the big sign. 50 minutes for Jey Uso. He lasted forever into the end. JD McBighead, McDonut, whatever you want to call him. Great fighter, but he was in there for 3 seconds. Cody and Braun with only 4 eliminations. That's kind of a surprise. No one else went over. No one else went over. How about that? It's pretty weird, isn't it? Pretty weird. Yeah, Camille looks great. And wherever she lands up should be pretty interesting also. So there's your Rumble review. Omos is in there. Braun, you had the Ivar spot, Theory, Dominic, Carlito with the apple. There was so much that went on throughout this Rumble that makes it great. I kind of forget that there wasn't 4 or 5 legends that come in. Is Braun Breaker a call up? Is Carmelo a call up? You got Andrade coming back. You got McAfee was a surprise. You had a nice close at the end. Good Rumble. Could it have been better? Sure. There's some spots in the men's that could have been better. Was the women's better than the men's? Maybe a little bit. Maybe by a little bit for me. A lot of people say by a long shot. But the Royal Rumble did what it was supposed to do. A lot of stories throughout. JD Funko. Oh my God, Kev. Oh! Was it last 2K22 where they had big head mode? Oh my God. Oh my God. We get it, Sean. You didn't like the Roman match. Get over it. It leads to other things. At least we saw Roman fight, right? I'm not Roman's reign has been, the name Reigns is, his reign is going to be what makes him, he's going to go and do movies and shit too. Who knows? So I'm a wait and see kind of guy. I can't wait and see what's going to happen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Lord Amadeus in the house. Just in time for the end of the show, LA. Good for you. Still only 10 likes. Can we get some likes on the board out there? If you guys haven't already, hit that thumbs up, share it out, send this to other people so they can watch the replay, and give me your thoughts on the Rumble. These are just mine. I'm just some schmuck telling you what I thought about the Rumble. Who knows? I enjoyed it from start to finish. Yes, if I would have picked the match that was the least, it would have been the Roman match. But there was only 4 matches, and they did a great job. No pre-show matches, no fluff. It focuses on the Rumble. Those 2 matches are what mattered. So good shit, WWE in the Rumble. Can't wait to see how they're going to build Mania. Look at Green Shirt Guy. What's he doing in the scrum? He's in the press conference afterwards. Speaking of big heads, Denise Salcedo, get your big head out of here. I still think that he's got to be either related to someone that works for the company or he works for the company himself. Good old Green Shirt Guy. Because everyone's always like, how's he get that front row seat ticket all the time and this and that? So, and he's in the scrums. It kind of tells something. So I just figured that was funny to show. Let's touch base with AEW real quick before we close out. Not a lot of news. Serena Deeb returning. I can't wait till Jamie Hayter comes back and Britt. They're building their women's division up as well. Shane Taylor and Lee with Moxley and Claudia was a knuckle banger. Great. Kingston's amazing always. Lady Frost, who's fought in the local area here a lot in Pennsylvania. Good to see her getting another match. Sign Lady Frost. Keep building that women's division in AEW. Mariah May looks good too. And hey, Collision had 2 women's matches. I see you, AEW. I see you. Everyone complains, and I do too. Only 1 women's match on Dynamite. Nagata, I didn't know a lot about with, I'm sure Andy Price and you New Japan people know he's a former Triple Crown winner. I just watched Collision today because this was on at the same time as the Rumble. So, of course, the viewership was shit. The cage match felt special. And I like that. I like their cage is a little different than WWE's. Danielson's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's phenomenal. Cassidy and Commander was good. They're building a lot of story over there. And you got to think, with WWE stepping up their game and being fucking phenomenal right now, in my opinion, Tony Khan and his company needs to make some changes too. I'll be real. I will be critical of AEW, which I am a fan of, that they need to make some big changes quickly and get back on track. I was hoping House of Black won that main event. It was the story of Daniel Garcia is what it was. Daniel Garcia got beat up. He wasn't supposed to make it. Briscoe came in and fought instead. But then Daniel came out as anyway and fought. Briscoe came out and got attacked actually. But they ended up giving, and it was an escape the cage elimination match, which I guess they were just trying to say everyone had to escape the cage, which I'm not a big fan of escape the cages. I'd rather see them pinfall submission elimination. But it was first team to get out wins. And Malachi actually had it in the bag. All he had to do was walk out the door. But Daniel Garcia said, come finish me. Because Julia Hart sprayed the mist into Daniel Garcia's face as he was at the cage, through the cage. So Daniel Garcia, covered in the mist, says, bring him back in. Come in here and finish me off, Malachi. Malachi, not a great move, went back in, and it ended up Daniel Garcia getting out, and FTR and Daniel Garcia ended up winning that cage match. But I love the cage match that they don't do it hardly ever, so it feels a little special. And go rewatch Collision from Saturday. It was a damn good show. Pretty damn good show. They brought the ranking system back in AEW, which a lot of people were crapping on already after Dynamite last night. They brought the ranking system back. It's a little different than before. It doesn't have to be, it's wrestling. It doesn't have to be exact, but I get, the champions are not ranked. So like all 3 of the singles champions, they're not ranked. And then you just have a top 5. And FTR is not even in the tag ranks. They're in the I almost said G6, in the trios. So it's a little confusing, but hopefully they can iron out, the things that are wrong with the rankings and use them to make things look a little more competitive. That's what I'm looking for. Taya Valkyrie is one of my favorite wrestlers. I hate to see her continue to lose over and over and over. But Deonna Purrazzo, with her storyline with Toni Storm, looks like we're going to get Deonna and Toni for the title. And Toni Storm was on commentary, was gold. She said she loves coming to New Orleans because she got some beads and they weren't for around her neck. And I wish she would continue, because her and Deonna go back. They're friends, so they're playing off each other. And when Toni Storm was calling her Donna Palazzo, I laughed my ass off. I want to know if she's related to the legendary Enrico Palazzo from Naked Gun. Nah, I digress. Deonna and Taya put on a great fight. Cal Fletcher, TV champ of ROH, he stepped in to fight Jericho. Jericho working his way to Takeshita next week. Jericho getting a win over Cal Fletcher. Of course, he had to get to Takeshita, but I hate seeing Cal Fletcher lose after he just won the ROH TV title. But that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, figure it out, AEW. Get your shit in gear this year, man. The rumors of Mercedes coming in, I don't know if that moves the needle, though, to be honest. She's phenomenal. But does that move the needle? It brings in a new little audience, but does that move the needle? I don't know. Okada, I think Okada would be anticlimactic in WWE. If he would have came out in the Rumble, a lot of the casuals wouldn't know who Okada is. But he's legendary. He's awesome. I think you're going to see Okada and Mercedes in AEW. And what they do with them and going forwards for Revolution. Revolution's got to be a big supercard, man. They got to do some good shit. I really think Sting and Darby are going to win the tag titles next week and then face the Young Bucks at Revolution for the tag titles. I'm not against it. I'm a Sting fan. Whatever Sting wants, I'm happy with. This is the end of the road for Sting as a wrestler, and I hate to see it, but I am just glad that Sting got to do what he got to do in AEW for a while. I was nervous about him jumping off of balconies and shit, but I love Sting, and I hate to see him go. It's going to be sad, but Sting is probably my all-time favorite wrestler, if not one of my top 3. So we'll see. Hangman and Swerve going after Samoa Joe's title. I love it. So they picked each other's opponents. Swerve picked Toa Liona for Hangman, and they put on a banger. The tease on Collision was Hangman said that Swerve was going to have to wait the whole effing show to find out his opponent. If you're a wrestling fan, you know that means RVD. RVD also one of my all-time favorites, along with Jericho that's on here. And RVD looked phenomenal. If you want to see a 50-plus wrestler who does not wrestle like a 50-plus wrestler, go watch Swerve Strickland and RVD from last night. Amazing. Now, RVD is not going to do everything exactly like he used to, but he did the leg drop. He did a lot of his maneuvers that he used to do, and it was great, especially with Samoa Joe on commentary. And now we're getting Swerve and Hangman one more time next week to see who faces Joe at Revolution. They have all the pieces to the puzzle in AEW. They just got to put them together. And right now they're not. I will be critical, and I want it to be better. And I think it will. I'm hopeful that it will be better. So time will tell. They need to step up their game because their competition, which they'll never reach the level of WWE. Don't get it twisted, folks. WWE is the penultimate. They are the greatest of all time. They always will be. But having these other companies flourish, TNA, AEW, and others, it's important to the wrestling world. So workers have jobs, and we can see matches we never thought we would see. That is it, folks. A little solo with your boy Blaze on the WrestleSense podcast. The boy's busy tonight, but I figured I wanted to get us back on track. But we can only finish the show one way at the end of the day. All right. So at the end of the day, as I've been saying throughout this podcast, I'm glad to be back on WrestleSense, bringing you some wrestling news. I'm not a wrestling media person. I'm just a fan who loves talking wrestling and shooting the shit with you guys. Wrestling is definitely more important than the drama, Kelly. I agree. Although there's a lot of stuff that happens outside the wrestling ring, and it's horrible. Some of the stuff that the allegations that are going on, everything, and we're not going to address it, but I like to focus on the positives. I'm very different from normal wrestling media. That's why I don't consider myself wrestling media. I'm just someone who loves to talk wrestling. The guys of the podcast have been in the business, have more experience than me, but we're all different as far as our fandom, and that's a good thing. If everyone was the same, if these companies were the same, it would be boring as shit. So like what you want to like, hate what you want to hate, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. That is your WrestleSense, and you're entitled to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you soon. Whether this podcast turns into a monthly thing or a only after pay-per-view type thing or a breaking news type thing, I don't know. I'll try to keep it alive some way, shape, or form. But I appreciate you all being a part of the show. New month, new possibilities. And we're on the road to WrestleMania and the road to Revolution, to huge supercards, pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call them. And I can't wait. 2024 is going to be a banner year for the world of pro wrestling, and I want to be here right with you guys along for the ride. I will be live with LTD Wrestling here in about a couple minutes. Stay tuned, everybody. I love you. Peace and positive vibes to each and every one of you guys and gals and your family. Stay safe. Stay tuned to the WrestleSense podcast for more. The Hardcore Sports Network as well. And I'll see you in my streams. We out.